Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Underhood Show presented by Hambelton Ford. My name is Phil Nightingale. Morning, Josh.
Good morning.
Josh Prophet, our service director, here to take your calls at 316-462-3673. Josh, you got me kind of jacked up there.
Yeah,
This new
it
technology
is.
you got going on there. He's got a touch screen over here for me
Well,
today.
I was trying to, I don't know.
That's going to make me funny. I got to pull this over here because I got to look over this way a little bit further.
Look that way. Gotcha. Yeah. Look at that.
Aren't we special?
Just trying to do things a little bit different. Just when things are cooking right along and everything's going good, you got to change some stuff.
Hey, I get it. I get it. So, hey, it's a call-in show, 316-462-3673. That's the number to the front desk. And anything ailing your car, tires, brakes, batteries. You want to talk about anything in the automobile world, racing, whatever it might be. You want to talk about the USMTS race down in Texas last night. We can talk about that too. Any caller that calls in gets a great price package, about over $130 for each and every caller. Only showing no, you get paid to call in on. And Josh, as always, what's in that package?
So we're going to mail it out to you, but it's going to consist of the works, which is an oil change and tire rotation. We use Motorcraft oil and filter products here at Hambelton Ford. While we're performing that, we're going to complete a multi-point inspection, checking over your brakes, tires, steering, suspension, all the safety-related components on that vehicle, making sure that it's geared up and ready to go for that next 5,000 miles of driving. You'll also receive yourself $10 to Mel's Diner, so you can get yourself something to eat and drink while you're here with us at the Big Corner. Complete nitrogen for your tires, so you get all the great benefits that nitrogen has to offer. And then a BG products package, which consists of a can of MOA or motor oil additive for your engine oil, and then CF5 for your fuel system. Again, just getting that vehicle geared up and ready to go for that next 5,000 miles of driving.
All right, 316-462-3673. Let's get the phones ringing. Love to hear from you. Love to give away some of those great price packages and stuff too. And it looks like Gus is on live with us this morning.
Well, he says, you're changing crap. I gotta be there to make sure it's gonna work, so this comes through. That's what the deal is.
Well, I get it. I understand. So
you got a great safety net there for sure.
Yeah, I get it. So anyway, it's love to hear from you. Love to car. You got text coming at me here.
Oh, that's okay. We had our race open house last weekend. Man, I thought that worked out really well. Had a great event here. A large crowd and had a lot going on that day for sure. And, I think everybody had a really good time. And we, again, always kind of changing things and evolving and trying to make things better and from the previous year, and had a couple of different changes that we made as far as different checkout stations and stuff like that. And I think that went really well for the consumers, but, appreciate everybody that was able to come out and join us on our race open house, because I thought it was a really good event. So
it was a good event. Great to see everybody and everything get the race season kicked off and stuff too. So thanks everybody that came out and joined us and had fun, and gave away some great prizes and gave away some great deals. And hope we got your racers all geared up and ready to go for the 2024 race season. I'm ready about you, Josh, but I'm ready to go racing.
Yeah, so, it's I don't know. Did you watch much of the 500?
No, I couldn't, man. It was on.
Yeah.
I watched I walked in the door when it was over, and it wasn't the 500.
Well,
it was a 499.
Yeah,
That was so bad. As much as I like William Bryan. I think he's a great guy and everything else like that. But the 48 car should have won that race, in my opinion. It should have been throwing a caution way too early. They should have thrown a caution earlier, so it would have been a green and white checkered instead of what it did. Everybody trying to say the rules are this, that, and everything. I don't care. The caution when it was happening, and they didn't throw the caution, the cars went across the line. So it is what it is. It's over. It's said and done. William Bryan's a winner. He gets the crown. He gets the trophy. But everybody's got an opinion, right?
Yep.
You know what? We got an opinion.
So.
And Tim Daniels says, great to see Ricky. He is real. I still say he's not real.
I don't know. He
was real in an impersonator on Saturday.
Yeah, I don't know what more he's got to do to prove he's real than show him in real life, in real person, and But anyways,
yeah, exactly. So anyway, again, thank you all it came out on the race open house. Thanks to all the vendors that showed up. I think all the vendors are very excited. Did a lot of tech talk with the racers and stuff, and I think some of the racers learned a lot of new stuff. I don't know. I learned a lot of great stuff. Weirs was here, got to talk with that gentleman for quite a while on different things and stuff too. So it was fun to have everybody here. All-Star was here. That was great. Those guys were fantastic and everything else too. So just great to have all those guys from that part. So let's get the phones ringing. 316-462-3673. Love to hear from you. Anyway, Jeremy Kane, I know push truck driver. I got you. Let's, I will tell you that Wednesday, 6 o'clock will be our first live Salt City Racing announcements. We are going to come live on Facebook and YouTube. We'll also be on these channels here for a little while to get everybody over to the Salt City Racing page to be live from there. Every Wednesday at 6 o'clock, we will go live and talk about what's happening. We will come out Wednesday with a little bit altered race schedule from what we were talking about. We're going to have our transition rules out there also to go over with the B mods and stock cars and A mods, what we can do there. And we're going to have our purse and payouts and stuff for you too. And we're going to, hopefully by then, we'll know 100% of where we're going to actually pit over at Salt City. We've been working with the insurance company to make everybody safe and secure and make it easy for the fairgrounds to provide for us and help us set up and everything every week. So stay tuned Wednesday, 6 o'clock. And we will have that part there. The website is up if you want to go check it out. It's not 100% yet, but we are still working on that part of it too. So excited for Salt City Speedway. I should say Salt City Racing, as I might say. But anyway, to be ready to go April 26th. I got some other announcements I want to make that we'll make on what we're going to do with the track and what's going to happen there from that part. Working with a lot of sponsors, a lot of people already to make this thing happen. And yeah, we're way behind the 8 ball and that sort of thing too, but we'll make it happen, right, Josh?
It's it's one of those things. If we're not going 900 miles an hour, something's wrong anyway. So in true fashion around this place,
I say going 200. Yeah. Running 200, but going 50.
Well, yeah, there you go. But definitely a little behind the 8 ball, I think. But that's okay. We'll make it happen.
Yeah. So stay tuned. Wednesday night, 6 o'clock, we'll go live, and with all the great announcements and everything, what everybody's kind of been anticipating and waiting on. And sorry, just been taking longer than we need to just to help out and get everything in line the way we need to have a successful time. And everybody, I'm just telling you, I just want to prove the Fair Board they were wrong, not out to. Just want to prove that this racetrack, that you want it, that we need it, and we want to race once a month, and that we'll show up and we'll show the Fair Board the crowds that show up and the racers that show up. I'm doing everything I possibly can to get as many possible racers there to race. Got some other things up the schedule if other people don't understand what's happening, what I'm trying to do, but that's okay. Everybody's got an opinion again, right, Josh?
Yeah.
But you'll see Wednesday night, 6 o'clock, after we announce some stuff and go through. And I can't make everybody happy, but I'm trying to do the best to make as many possibly can. That's why we're coming up with some transition rules to make everybody that possibly can change a few things on their car to race and have fun from that part too. So anyway, you'll see that Wednesday night, 6 o'clock. Be ready. If you want to jump on Salt City Racing page on Facebook or the webpage, they're both up and running, and you can check it out and sort of thing. But like I said, there's a lot of changes still coming on the website for that part of the deal too. So anyway, 316-462-3673. Let's get some phones ringing. Love to hear from you from that part. So enough on that, Josh. Let's we kind of kicked off the racing stuff, everything else like that. How's everything in the shop this week? Been a crazy week, I know.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely been busy. It seems like kind of a broken record when you talk about things in the shop and trying to get things through as far as just always being busy. But again, like we were talking about earlier, that's what we do is we just keep plugging away at it. And it's from a consumer standpoint, I definitely understand and don't like it when a consumer calls in and they've got something that's irritating them and they want to get fixed, and you've got to say, hey, it's going to be a week or so before we can get to it, or a week and a half or 2 weeks. That's definitely not our intention. But also from the other side of that is that we want to be able to make a promise to you that when we have an appointment set for your vehicle, that we're able to get to it that day, for sure. And then also trying to get it to the right person, to make sure that when we get that vehicle in here, that we're able to accurately diagnose it and get it fixed, so that it's the issue's taken care of. And it's these technicians back here, the knowledge that they have and the experience that they have, it's worth the wait.
It's like I said, if you don't go to a restaurant and there's nobody there. My wife had a lunch appointment lunch meeting with, not a meeting, just a lunchtime with one of her friends from Hutch. And she said, there's nobody in that restaurant. I said, well, did you like eating there? She said, well, it was a little weird. I said, yeah, I get it. So that's my whole thing is if it's a busy restaurant, it's worth the wait. And that's kind of how I look at that too, from that part. I had a gentleman here last night picking up his car and I got here late. Of course, nobody's here. So he got a little frustrated. I said, bear with me here a minute. It was 7 o'clock and we did get him taken care of.
Yeah.
Handled and everything else too. But, and I kind of use the same analogy with him. He kind of laughed. He says, yeah, I guess you're kind of right. So
for sure.
Anyway, good morning, Dennis. Good morning, Delbert. Good morning, Bill. Everybody, thanks for joining us live and everything else too. So let's get the phones ringing, 316-462-3673. And we got a caller coming, Josh. Let's get him on the phone here. We'll get Ryan patched in here in a minute. That part. Morning, Rob. How you doing, buddy? Anyway, the other thing while we're waiting on that caller to come in, kind of another huge announcement. I say it's huge announcement or whatever, but Ford went out and lowered, and I don't mean just a few $1,000s. They lowered the heck out of the Mach-E prices. So if you're on the verge of looking at an electric car or whatever, I'm telling you, the Mach-E GT went down $11,000.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, that's crazy.
$11,000. I can't believe it went down that much, but it did. So jump on our webpage, mhford.com. You can see the Mach-E's out there, that how much they've went down and stuff. And so if you were close on one of those, it's a great time. Ryan, are you ready to go?
Yep. Ryan, you're live with Under the Hood. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys, and thanks for having me, and congratulations on the Self-City racing. I've been following it on the news, and congratulations. I'm ready to go over there and see some racing, and great opportunity for the region and the area to really show, how we can support the racing community. So congratulations, sir.
I appreciate that, Ryan, very much.
We're gonna get it off the ground and in the air. I promise you that.
I hope so too. Some of the things you're seeing in the news are not accurate either, so just be careful. I'll be making some announcements on Wednesday when we go live at 6 o'clock to clear the air on a lot of things that the news has put out there that's not correct. I've had to be pretty quiet till we had the contract signed. It is signed now and stuff, so it's time to. So tune in on Wednesday night at 6 o'clock for some more announcements, Brian.
Oh yeah, no, I'll definitely be locked in, and I got some buddies that are going to be locked in for that announcement too. So
perfect.
As we know, and here into business real quick, and just I want to have Josh, you guys weigh in on this because things are tough out there for everybody right now, and so engine light popped on my 2012 Ford Fusion, and I went into a little national shop, and they plugged in. They said it's the oxygen sensor, and they said it's about $91. And I mean, it is like, what kind of impact can I have? And then they say you don't have to do it. And I mean, is there what am I doing by not throwing $100 at the oxygen sensor? Is it worth is the ROI there with that? And I just kind of wanted to listen to you guys on your take on that. I want to be doing what's right by my car, but when they're advising, you don't have to do anything, and it's $100. So I'd like to kind of hear your thought process on that.
Well, I bet you Josh and I got kind of the same thought process too, but first thing I will tell you is, if you do need an oxygen sensor, that's reading how rich and how lean the motor is and telling the computer what kind of a mixture to put back in so the car will be efficient. So is it going to be an ROI on an oxygen sensor for $90? Yeah, you're going to burn more fuel and have less power, and plus you're going to do your motors probably might carbon up or do something different
more carbon,
from that $90. But the first thing I really want to do is it really the oxygen sensor that it needs. You can't just put a code reader in these cars today, Ryan, and that code tells you that just because of the description of the code, that doesn't mean that's the failed part. Okay. Number two, I'll let Josh chime in on his side of this too. But number two, if that light's on steady and the car's acting okay, you're okay to drive. If that light starts flashing at you, you need to stop, because that's when it's doing damage from that part. So when they say you don't really need to do it or whatever, I'm telling you, whatever's turning that light on, yeah, you do need to do it, because it's causing a problem. It's the way the car's talking to you and tell you, hey, we got an issue from that part. But we need to first figure out that's what that is.
So, and kind of to add to Phil's point a little bit here is that if that light is on, here, my biggest thing with the check engine light, because you can get into there's so many different codes that can cause that, and so many different sensors, and are some of them, in my opinion, probably more important than others. And, you know, a long-term effect, an oxygen sensor, I believe, has a pretty important job as far as telling fuel mixture, and then it's going to, you know, make the vehicle rich or lean, or based on what it's reading. And then if it's faulty and not working, then that computer is running off of a defaulted value. So now it's ignoring the sensor that's telling that it's bad and working off of a set parameter. So you're not changing or altering that fuel one way or the other, or that mixture one way or the other, and then you get the additional carbon and stuff like that. Now, is it going to hurt it to drive it, you know, in the interim or short term? No, it's not going to hurt anything. Long term down the road, yeah, you potentially would burn more fuel or make it run rich, lean, you know, one way or the other, and have the adverse effect each way of that. But my biggest thing with a check engine light, when it's on, something else happens to the vehicle, the light doesn't get any brighter. It's not going to be able to come on and tell you that, hey, now there's something else of maybe more importance going on, or an issue. And so, yeah, I'm definitely a advocate for taking care of those lights, and, you know, keeping the dash clean, and making sure that that, you know, we don't have a bunch of lights on and stuff like that. So
I mean, yeah. So really what we need to do, and again, Ryan, for calling in the show, we're going to add this to your package, the diagnostic package. Well, we'll run that code through a trouble tree what we have, and do the diagnostics and prove it. And it could be that it does need that oxygen sensor, but it could be a broken wire. It could be a poor connection somewhere or something like that. So I could turn that light on or whatever. Or it might even be not even that sensor. It might be something else that's caused that code to set from what else is happening there from that part. So we want to put a diagnostic on it for you, Ryan. We'll no charge at all. Run the trouble tree, have one of our technicians scan the code, not do a code reader, and make sure that's the code, make sure that, and then follow that trouble tree down and prove that it is. And maybe it might be just that oxygen sensor for you know, $100 or whatever it might be. I hope that's all it is. That again, we don't know till we really kind of diagnose it or whatever from that part. Okay.
Okay. Well, I'll come in and see you guys like I always do, and thank you, and look forward to the clarity announcement on Wednesday. Let's go racing. Thanks so much, guys.
Right,
have a good one.
You too, Ryan. Thanks, you. Ryan. He's right. Let's go racing. All right, 316-462-3673. Get the great price packs, about over $130. Or you might be like Ryan, pick up an extra diagnostic package we'll throw on there to diagnose your car. But we run into this all the time. I understand what the parts houses are trying to do. They got to sell parts, and given those code readers in there, some of you have heard me say this many, many times. That's a quick check, but that's all it is. Those code readers can't read as deep as our scan tools can. I mean, those code readers probably cost them $100, $200. We spend $4,000 or $5,000 on one of our scanners by the time it's set up and ready to go to diagnose these codes correctly. But then you got to have the information to follow it down through and know how to diagnose the car. I mean, anybody can read a chart, but if you don't know what you're doing with that thing, with the technicians that we have to follow that chart down and maybe diagnose it. And like I said, hopefully that is a oxygen sensor. That's all it is. Yeah. Very well could be. Could you get lucky and put an oxygen sensor, light goes out and everything else? Yeah, hey, it could, but you just don't know. But again, I can't stress that enough, that these lights on these cars are on there for a reason. They're talking to you. It used to be years ago, you could drive a car, you could hear what was going on, you could act how it acts or whatever. Just like Jeremy's situation there. I mean, Ryan's situation, it's driving fine. There's no issue, but that light's on. But I promise you that mixture is messed up. Years ago, you couldn't tell that. But, guys were good enough with cars. You get to listen to the car, how it sounded, how it started, what did everything else from that part. Not today. That's what these lights are for, are to actually tell you, hey, we've got an issue, we need to fix it. And the longer you leave that light on, the more it's going to cost you from that part. So
run into a situation here just this week. Had a person had a 17, 18 year model Fusion and took it to somewhere, had the independent of some sort, or O'Reilly's. I don't know if they initially were starting to mess with it themselves and then took it to an independent. But basically, if the check engine light was on, car was running fine, everything was good to go. They had diagnosed it as the code was for a purge valve for the evaporative emissions system, and they went through and did, I guess, some sort of diagnosis with it, indicated that the purge valve needed to be replaced. Well, then they went and they bought an aftermarket purge valve for the thing and put the purge valve on it. Unless didn't fix anything. So basically was having trouble diagnosing it, brought it in, had one of our technicians look at it. Well, the part that they had put on was an aftermarket purge valve. Well, that aftermarket purge valve on that specific model of Fusion, it's a universal purge valve in this aftermarket deal. So the valve
fits set on 5 different cars,
on several different vehicles. Well, if you put the factory purge valve on it, it comes with, there's like 5 hoses that come off of this thing to go different places all over the intake. Well, what had happened was there was a small crack because of the age of the hosing and stuff like that in one of the hoses, and the only way to get the hoses was to buy the purge valve. Well, they spent, I don't know, it was around $150 for this aftermarket purge valve that was just the purge valve, and then turn around and had to buy the factory valve in addition to it that actually fixed the problem to begin with. And that's where when you talk about, it's not only the quality of the diagnosis, but what are you putting on it as far as a part, and there's a difference in those aftermarket parts. And it's I go back to the you get what you pay for scenario.
And I'm going to chime in there too with those parts. And years ago, back in, I hate to say how long ago that was, when I was working at Halstead Auto Supply, selling parts and things, the aftermarket world most of the time had a little bit better part or whatever for the cars to upgrade them, do a little bit better job, whatever from that part. Now with all these electronics and all the sensors and all that stuff, the aftermarket world went into where they take that purge valve and they make it so it can fit several different applications of cars, models, makes, that sort of thing. But the quality of that part is not as good as we can prove right here as it is today. So that it's kind of flipped.
Yeah.
Is there still some good aftermarket parts out there that you can buy for your car and everything else? There sure are. But getting into some of these tech parts and sensors and purge valves and that kind of thing, it's so much better today. The quality of the and what you need to get is so much better with an OEM part than it is an aftermarket part. It's kind of like body parts. I mean, years ago, the aftermarket body parts were just as good, if not better, than the original equipment. Not today, because that's the same thing they've done. They went and take that same fender and they try to figure out a way to fit 3 or 4 different years of a few little altercations instead of having the fender that fits your car from that part. So it's so much better to be using original equipment parts today. And there are applications. I mean, because we do sell some aftermarket parts, and we do use some aftermarket parts in certain situations from that part. So it's back to, again, get what you pay for. Pay me now or pay me later kind of deal, right?
Exactly.
From that port. Anyway, good morning, Darren McKim. Good morning, Kyler. Thanks, everybody, for joining us on live. 316-462-3673. Anything ailing your car, tires, brakes, batteries, anything you want to talk about in the racing world, anything in new products, whatever. Love to hear from you, and to get that great price package.
Spit it on out. Come on.
Price package valued over $130 for each and every caller, only so you know you get paid to call in on. So 316-462-3673. That's the number to the main store here. That tell the girls when they answer the phone, you want to get passionate podcast, we'll get you chapped in here and get you going. Anything ailing a car, love to hear from you. 316-462-3673.
How you doing over there with all these changes?
Hey, man,
is everything okay? Or I don't know, the not having a mouse to mess with.
Everybody knows. Josh just threw me a little tech in here. I bet Gus is over here spinning these wheels trying to figure out what I'm doing over here and stuff too. So I'm getting pretty good at the old new screen I got here and stuff. I don't know, but I know anybody can't see it or whatever, but it is pretty cool.
lot bigger for sure. So,
somebody needs something a little bigger so they can see everything in this thing. so I'm getting along pretty well, Josh. So thank you for doing that. I just don't know how we're going to put up other things we need to put up on the screen when we need to.
Yeah, we got it. Yeah, we've got that deal handled too. So one of the other things that I wanted to talk about today, or that we had happen this week, is and I don't know if we've got anybody on online or on with us that has drove a over the road or had to do anything DOT related. That was going to be my kind of curiosity of what your opinion is on DOT stuff, or heavier
CDL, Josh?
Heavier trucks. I do. Yeah, I do have a CDL.
Yes. I do too. Sometimes I wish I didn't though.
Well, understand that. And or vehicle inspections, state inspections, should that be a thing? You know, the when I think of DOT, honestly, for my opinion, I understand the safety side of it, but I don't get all the and I understand it's a money thing, right? So, you know, we're traveling to Oklahoma, you got to buy a fuel permit and a trip permit and all the paperwork side of things. But I definitely get the safety side of it. You know, when you stop somebody and you're looking at tread depths and windshields and brakes and, you know, things like that. I fully grasp and understand that. I think they can go maybe a little bit overboard on some stuff.
Well, yeah.
And that part of it, especially Oklahoma, man, it seems like every time we go through there, it doesn't matter what's you could think you have all your I's dotted and T's crossed and get in there.
I've kind of heard somebody goes a different route around that thing sometimes too from that part. But yeah, the DOT inspection for the over the road trucks, I get that safety fact, you know, how big they are running down the road and stuff. You know, years ago when the safety inspection was part of before you could get a car registered, you had to have it safety inspected. And then I don't remember how often you had to do it or whatever. But I remember doing those safety inspections and people would come in, you could see what they've done. They had taken tires off another car and different things off other cars and stuff to get that car to pass. But you know, they went right back and put the old stuff back on the old cars. So I get what you're saying there too. But also the DOT inspection, I still remember when our rig was going through Oklahoma and that the officer stopped him and basically held him up for 24 hours because the fire extinguisher was in the truck, but it wasn't bolted down because we were using so many different trucks and things like that. We just throw the fire extinguisher where we go. Now that's overboard, in my opinion. So then I told him, I said, I'm going to come down and get the cars off that trailer and put them on another trailer so I can get my units delivered. They wouldn't even let me come down and take those units off for 24 hours. I mean, that's way overboard and stuff like that too. So
it's definitely, and again, I get the need for it. I get the reasoning behind it. And what brought that up is we had a individual hauling cross country, and this is kind of on the other degree of it. Of hey, how is this guy even on the road? So he's hauling, got a Dodge Ram 3500 single rear wheel pickup with a 40-foot gooseneck trailer, and it's just a hot shot hauler. So basically goes out and bids, bids on a load. It could be one time it could be this, next time it could be that. No idea what you're hauling. But anyways, the gentleman comes in and has was at a repair facility, had service work done. They put inflated the tires to the door placard, which was 70 psi.
Okay.
Drove it a little further down the road and it blew out. One of the tires blew out. So limps it in. We go through, look at it all. It has P metric tires on there.
Oh,
that should have never have had 70 psi on it. But this guy, it has a 40-foot gooseneck trailer tied to it. That
he's lucky he didn't hurt somebody when that tire blew or did whatever.
Well, and I mean, it just blows me away that you would do that and not have the appropriate equipment or tires to be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty crazy. It goes back to, again, someone just saw what size it needed to be, put that size on it, didn't put the right load rating, didn't put the right speed rating, didn't put the correct ply rating on that truck. It was on the truck or the trailer? It
was on the truck.
It was on
the rear of the truck. So then my next thing is we're digging into this, figuring out what's going on, figured out that, hey, don't have the right tires on it. He knew it didn't have the right tires on it, that it didn't have LTs on it, and didn't want to correct the situation.
Oh,
cheap black ground. On there and go. And in situations like that, it's like, man, that's it's hard to swallow that there's
I just hope that he never does have another one blow or whatever with cars on it or whatever he's hauling or whatever and hurt anybody. I mean, that's
loaded up and going down the road is crazy. So
and the amount of time, just like before I hook up and take off from my race rig, the amount of time we spend to make sure the tires are there, the lights are working, doing all the stuff, and hey, tell you, we're running brand new equipment, and we still are checking that stuff over from that part to make sure we're safe and solid. I mean, I'm always looking at the connectors are plugged in, the safety changer hooked up, all that kind of stuff.
Well, it's one thing to skip on the mechanical side of things. So my check engine light's on, I need an oxygen sensor, I'm not going to do that. Okay, that's not going to put other motorists in danger. But when you talk about, brakes, tires, steering, suspension, all that stuff, it's beyond a decision at that point when you start taking other people's, lives in
Yeah.
danger.
And lucky when that tire
sure.
blew, I guess he probably didn't hurt nobody or whatever. So was it was it a dually?
No, it was single rear wheel. That's the other thing.
Oh, wow.
You didn't even have another tire to divide the load with. Couldn't believe it. So
Yeah, and that's the thing. I go a little overboard when we're pulling. I could probably pull with the 350, but I pull with the 450 just because of the better brakes and all that kind of stuff too, and the bigger tires underneath that truck and all that kind of stuff too. But just part of being safe and easy and stuff. And I guess he's just looking at how to save a buck. And you know what?
We got to make it
cost him. It's going to cost him later more probably, because again he blew out that tire, but he didn't want to fix the rest of the tires.
Had no interest in it. Cheap blacking around. So
wow, that's crazy from that part. So anyway,
it blows you away. So then I've got some additional stuff here.
Okay, what do you got there?
Okay,
so more tech.
We're gonna try this deal here. We'll flip this on here. So I'm gonna ask you what happens to this vehicle. We'll get this playing.
It looks like a Camaro back here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a Camaro, but so what?
That's too funny.
We'll play it again. We'll play it again.
Oh, that is too funny. Yeah, look at the size of the rear tires, first of all.
Yeah. Ready?
Yeah,
go. We're gonna do it again.
Because I think I seen the control arms coming back.
So I think a couple of things could have happened here. One, that or the other thing that I was wondering is if the drive shaft shredded up and stuck like a fork in the road and then just jerked the whole differential out the back.
Because you still see the trailing arms coming back.
Yeah. Yep.
From that. One more time.
One more time. We'll do it again. We'll do it one more time. Yeah.
Think he needs a tow truck?
Yeah, it's gonna take a little something to get that off the track for sure. I thought I seen the drive shaft hang down there, but anyways,
it's a little blurry and everything else too from that part.
where I was headed with this is another vehicle that was brought in. So this is on a F350. Okay. The vehicle's in here for a recall. Straight up recall. Drove it in. Okay. Got that?
Yeah.
And this is the drive shaft out of this. So
is it 4-wheel drive or something?
It's 4-wheel drive.
So is that the rear drive shaft?
This is the rear drive shaft. We removed it
on the front one.
It drove in with this. This was in the vehicle. We took it out.
Oh, you took it out?
Yeah, we took it out, but it came in for a recall. So first of all, see how there's snap rings?
Yeah, they're about
down here. Yeah,
there's none there.
This one, somebody's went through and put.
Is that welded?
Yeah, somebody went through and put tack welds.
Oh wow!
On this cap to keep the cap from coming off there. Okay.
Wow.
So now, look at this.
Oh, it's coming out of there. Look! Oh my word! So if you guys can't see that, put your arrow back on that. That big gap in there, that's probably a quarter of an inch of gap right there. That should not be there. That should be nice and solid.
It should be a solid cap. Okay.
Wow.
Now we'll go through. Look at this
breaking
right here.
Away. Now that's breaking away. Wow. Isn't that crazy? And he's drove that in.
Drove it in here. Yeah, drove it in here. No complaints.
Look at that. Now you can really see the spot welds that someone
the
put on
spot welds up here.
Oh, mercy.
Drove it in here. No complaints other than the recall. Wanted to get this recall completed on it. So this.
Oh, there's a real good shot of it. God almighty.
This drive shaft is minutes away from braking.
Yeah.
Okay. So now imagine going down the road at 60 mile an hour. And this is it's a 2-piece shaft, and it's the dividing piece of the shaft. So it's the center of the shaft. So if this breaks, the front of the drive shaft or the center of that front part of the shaft is going to hit the ground, and it's going to throw stuff everywhere. Imagine this breaking at 60 mile an hour.
I'm sure glad I'm not behind that guy.
Okay.
Yeah. That is crazy.
There's another one. Just
another picture of the gap there from where that's just beating around in there. And you can see how it's even flared out.
Mm-hmm. Yep, where it's flared the yoke out that the shaft sits in.
Yep.
Okay. So this is the drive shaft part of it. So eventually we completed the recall, and I told them, I said, hey, we cannot in good faith let you drive this thing back out of here. Just cannot do it. And so I had the technician remove the shaft out of the truck, and we put it in the back of the truck and said, hey, I'll help you get it wherever you want it to go, but
you can't go. You're going to hurt somebody. It's
not driving out of here. So then we go through, this is the tires on the vehicle. Not too terribly bad there. Not great by any means.
Yeah. And that's the tire he's running down the highway on. Look at
this. This is what we're driving on here, chunking out there. So again, still I wouldn't drive that, but not anything what I would deem to be. This is the other side here.
It's chunking out too. It's
chunking out up here.
Yeah. Oh, mercy sake! Look at
this is the other side. So this is steel belts in here. We're seeing
I can see the steel belts and everything.
We're seeing steel belts on that.
Yeah. Oh, mercy! That thing's.
This is even another layer deep.
That's
up
seconds
here.
from wave. Did it have air in it still?
Yep.
Still had air.
Still inflated. I didn't even want a tech around it in fear that it was gonna
pop.
That it was gonna pop at any point in time.
Oh, look at that.
So we drove
in here.
Yeah, we're 1, 2, 3, probably 4 layers deep on maybe an 8-ply tire.
Yeah. Boy,
4, if not 5 layers deep.
And when that starts shredding, some of that's already shredded off. So it's laying on the highway. So
you can see it kind of coiled up down here.
Yeah, that is crazy. Boy, talk about safety. Look at that.
And this is in an F-350. Guys, been pulling trailers.
Yeah. Look at the mud in there too.
Yeah.
But I get what's going to happen with the mud. I get that if you're on the dirt and all that kind of stuff too. But my God, I'm surprised he didn't get stuck. Maybe
I think that's probably what happened. Is it got stuck at one point and shortly before.
Mm-hmm.
But even to this point here, those are now dry and hard and everything like that. Imagine going down the highway
and that's going to pop out at you.
Yeah, one of those flying out at you. So
yeah. So I do believe there's a little bit of safety issue here, don't you think, Josh?
Yeah.
That is
100%.
That is nuts. So anyway, like Tim Daniels says, how about those idiots driving the donuts at highway speeds too? Yeah. I mean, those little donuts are basically, God, them tires are crazy. Crazy. So we didn't let him leave.
No.
Right?
No.
Yeah. That was a great call on your part, Josh, not to let that guy get out of here, to keep everybody safe and not hurt somebody out there on the highway and stuff like that too. So those kind of situations make me think, yeah, we do need to have DOT inspections again. But again, he could have had that thing inspected, but who knows what would happen on down the road.
Or my other thing is, okay, somebody knows somebody that for $25 or $50, they'll sign off on an inspection, so I don't know. There's always going to be that loophole to everything.
And that's what I told you. That's what I saw when I was doing those inspections. You could tell those tires and wheels that came in on that car weren't
not what was on it.
It wasn't on it. And that sort of thing too. Just doing things to make things pass. And the other thing was exhaust. You could believe the things that people would patch underneath the cars to make the exhaust pass from that part. But again, back in those days, the emissions coming out the tailpipes are so much more than what they are today. So not as big deal. The next thing is we used to replace exhaust systems all the time. They would rust out because of the condensation. Now we got all these stainless steel exhaust systems and different things. We don't really do that much muffler work or exhaust work anymore from that part. So I do understand some of this. The cars today are so much more dependable, run longer, do more things and everything else like that too. But that truck guy, he's long overdue on some preventative maintenances for sure from that part. So crazy. Well, it's no different, Josh. I was driving to work. I think it was yesterday. And I'm driving down 235 and I passed this guy in a dually and the rear end is howling so loud that I can't believe Josh didn't hear it through the phone. I couldn't believe it, just howling. And he's running 70 mile an hour down the highway. And that's so loud. And, you
gotta wonder, okay, well, is there any fluid in that thing at all? And then if it's not, it's generating a bunch of heat and then to be running at 70 miles an hour.
Just to keep going with that noise the way it was. And I'm sure what it is a worker. It's not his truck, so he didn't care. He was just going to go to a quit. He probably wanted to break down so he could get paid not doing anything, probably. But that was crazy that truck was sitting out there running 70 down 235, and that rear end was just zinging like a crazy. I was ready for that drive shaft to slide out of that thing for what I was hearing from that part. Anyway, 316-462-3673. Hey, let's get the phones ringing. Love to hear from you. Anything in your car, tires, brakes, batteries, anything in the racing world, anything new products, whatever. Hey, let's talk about it. I want to talk about the Daytona 500 or 499, I should say. And I think they're headed to Atlanta tomorrow.
Yes.
Atlanta. So 316-462-3673. And we'll get you on the air here and get you the great price package and everything else too. So, Josh, what else kind of running out?
We talked about tires. We do have a tire special going on.
Oh, really? Okay, what do we got there,
kind
buddy?
of President's Day sale, but essentially there's up to 100. So obviously low price guarantee on all of our tires. We'll price match anybody if we need to on that. But then in addition to that, there's additional mail-in rebates. It's up to $125 mail-in rebates, or they'll give you Ford Pass reward points as well. Happen to put tires out. Got an Escape from my mom, and I put some tires on it, and they got 15,000 Ford Pass reward points back on that.
There you go.
So definitely took advantage of that. But if you're like this guy, don't let it get there before we get it addressed or taken care of. But.
And the stat is still out there. True is 80% of tire failures and punctures or whatever happen on the last 20% of tread wear. So remember that as you're doing that. Plus the other thing that happens when they get worn down, they are more acceptable to punctures and that sort of thing, but your traction goes away. And also the next thing is it can't get rid of the heat that a tire makes up because there's not enough meat there to get that heat get away. So your tire temperatures increase. Also, when the tires get worn down, I had a gentleman bought his Expedition in and he says, kind of thought there was something funny the day it was in the rain. It just didn't feel quite right. Looked at those tires. They weren't, it was time. They were down to 330 seconds.
Yeah.
230 seconds is when basically a tire is supposed to be replaced when there's 230 seconds left on the tire. And I said, yeah, I bet that was a little funny on running. He said, well, I was a little fast too. I was probably doing about 90. Okay. So just remember that 80% of tire failures happen in the last 20%. And it's always, lo and behold, it'll be flat in your garage or flat right by a repair shop or whatever too, right?
And just get it handled. And then like Tim says, then let's get a donut on it after you have a failure, and let's run that 80 mile an hour down the road to get going where you're going.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Last night we were in the sales tire, and a guy was trading in a 450 dually. Of course the new 450s that way. And it's a 22. He's got 100,000 miles on that truck. So again, bought the truck to use. If you're going to buy something like that, it is to use it. And I was talking to the salespeople, and he had just put on 2 new front tires.
So it wasn't rotating them.
Not rotating them at all. So back to the same scenario again. If he put that truck in 4-wheel drive, we got a problem. And so that's the discussion we got in the sales tire, trying to explain to the salespeople and the sales managers about tires and how that 4-wheel drive system has to work to work correctly and stuff. Now he's fine as long as he doesn't hit it in 4-wheel drive, but as soon as he hooks that truck in 4-wheel drive and those front tires are so much taller than those rear ones, it's going to create havoc, and who knows what's going to break, what's going to give away first, where it's a drive shaft, where it's transfer case, or whatever it might be. And so the salespeople said, well, we just need to get 4 tires. And I said, that branded tire he put on there, hate to tell you, that's not going on my truck sitting out here on this used car lot to be resold to somebody else. We're going to get 6 new tires in the thing with the proper load rating, the proper speed rating. So I went through the whole training with the guys about speed rating and load rating and all that kind of stuff, and especially a 450, because I promise you, the 450s are rated, I don't know, they're rated like 30 or 35,000 pounds. I don't have them top of my head how much those trucks will pull, but I promise you, there's not one of those trucks, 450s out there that's pulling less than 30,000.
Well, and that's what they buy the truck for.
Exactly.
That's what that truck is made for. Nobody's going to buy that and take it.
Just drive it around.
Put it in their garage.
No, 450 is the biggest pulling truck Ford makes, even on a 550, 650, 750. The 450 pulls more than any Super Duty we have, and people get that confused thinking a 550 is going to pull more. No, a 550, 650s, 600 and 700s all are made to haul, not tow. The 450 is made to tow. So different applications, that kind of thing. I run into it all the time with construction companies. So I need a 550 because I'm towing so much more. I said, no, you need a 450 from that part. And I've turn a lot of guys away from the 550s, and they thank me now because of how much better they are with the towing and that sort of thing too. But if you're putting a box on the back of the truck, 450 is not your truck. It's the 550, 600, and 650s from that part. So another lesson learned on tires and everything else too from that part. So anyway, 316-462-3673. If you want to get the phones ringing, we'd love to hear from you a little bit. We're running out of time here this morning.
How about go ahead. If you had some, how about an update on a new F-150 or a Ranger?
Okay, the 24 F-150s, I've got about 50 of those built between Kansas City and Dearborn, and they just started shipping the F-150s on the 16th. So the 24s are finally coming. The first one we have coming is going to be a Crew Cab XLT. It's coming out of Kansas City, so I'm hoping it'll be here the first of the week so we can see our first 24. Rangers, they've finally got production moving on those. For those you remember the strike back then, the Ranger and the Bronco plant was the first plant to go down, and I think they started, when that plant went back up, they wanted to get the Bronco production caught back up before they got the Ranger production started going. But we do finally have some Rangers on the way. I'd hate to guess when I'm going to see a Ranger, but I'm going to say the next couple of weeks we'll finally see a 24 Ranger sitting here on the ground too. That we've not had a new Ranger for
it's been
probably 8 months since because that again they went into stop production I think back in September so they could change the plan over, do everything, get ready for the new model year because it's a whole new truck for Ranger for 2024, and changing that over, getting that truck to ready to go for production. So here we go from that part. So.
Very interesting to see it because it's going to physically change size wise.
It's a little bit bigger truck, a little bit wider truck, so much more features and options. And remember when we brought that Ranger out, it was a truck that we're building in Australia, and then they just moved it over here to the States. And so now this is the first time for the United States to be able to have a complete redone truck for our side from that part. So haven't got to drive one. We did see one here. We had our training on a 24 Ranger, this fall. So it'd be exciting to finally get one and be able to drive. And of course, everybody's after this Ranger Raptor. No, that's going to be pretty cool and stuff like that too. I just wish Ford would build about 100,000 of those things.
I was going to say, are you limited on that, or do you know?
So far, we've got one that the very first customer that asked me for one is one of our good loyal customers. Has that finally getting built. It's getting built in March. And then Ford just called me and said, hey, you're getting this. And it's a black one that's coming. I don't know exactly what I'm going to get. I didn't get to pick any options or anything whatsoever from that part too. So anyway, that's kind of the update on the new models. And again, Mach-E, check out our website, mhford.com. Check out those Mach-Es. They have dropped the price on those things crazy.
We've got a couple of different options there in stock, don't we, for the Mach-Es?
Yeah. Yeah, we've got about 9 of them sitting out there right now too. So
very good. Yep.
Well, anyway, let's recap here real quick. Again, thank everybody for the race open house last weekend. It was fun. Ricky Bobby made an appearance. Mr.
The
Fake.
Real one.
No, he's not real. That wasn't real. That was a fake.
He had a sign that said it was real.
I get it. He can say he's real all he wants. So yeah, and no one still believes me, but I will still lay my hand on the Bible. I've never watched Talladega Nights from the start to finish in one setting. Never have. Haven't done it. Yeah, I'm going to, Josh, I'm headed to Illinois tomorrow with the race car. So I might just have to put that on
and
watch it.
You're watching it.
And watch it on the way to get over there from that part too. So from that part. So again, everybody, thank you again for Race Open House. It was fun. It was great. Great to take care of the racers, get them all set up. Matt O'Connor says, don't forget about Dan's cycle. Check out Jeremy Campbell's 2024 ride. I guess it's on display. We had Jeremy Campbell's frame and everything sitting here last week. So he must have his car together and must be out at Dan's cycle in Mountain Ridge. So don't forget to go check out Jeremy's ride there too. So anyway, everybody still watching, stay tuned for Wednesday, 6 o'clock. Salt City Racing will go live. We'll be live on all these channels too, to get everybody to like the page over on Salt City Racing. We're going to announce a little bit altered schedule for now that we know where we're at. I got a lot of announcements what we're going to do at the track. We're going to have our payouts. We're going to have our transition rules, so we can get as many possible cars as we can race, because I know a lot of people think there's a lot of cars can't race, but I can't get every car that is possible to race on that racetrack, but I'm going to get as many as I possibly can. I'll clear up a lot of misunderstandings and miscommunications a lot of people want to go out and get on Facebook and talk about. We'll clear up all those issues. We'll have our purse. We'll have the website is up and running, so if you want to look at Salt City Racing, it's out there right now. If you can jump on and look at it, it's not complete. It's close. I got a few more things need to alter there too from that part. So stay tuned. Wednesday night, 6 o'clock, we'll go live and we'll talk about everything we can at Salt City Racing. We'll have the chat line up for you too, to come in and chat on what you got, questions about it whatsoever. But again, transition rules too for stock cars, stock transition rules for the B mods, and also what did I leave out? Stock B mods, and there's also a little bit of transition rules for the A mods, what we can do there too, to try to get as many possible people as we can to do that. Anyway, can you diagnose a Dodge 4.7 Durango? We can work on every make and model, Jeremy. That's one thing about our technicians. We've got all the scan tools and things we need to do to work on any make or model here at Melham Ford. Even though we're a new Ford store, we work on everything there imaginable. We've had everything you need, from boats to trailers to four-wheelers to whatever you might want to think about to work on. We can take care of everything from that part. So anyway, everybody have a great Saturday. Looks like the warm weather's coming. It's racing time. It's time to go. Stay tuned live next Wednesday at 6 o'clock. And, of course, we'll be back next Saturday at 9 o'clock live with this show to talk about whatever's ailing your car from that part, anything in the automobile world. Everybody have a great Saturday. Stay safe. Have fun. We'll talk to you Wednesday night at 6 o'clock.